Captain, incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind.
Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
Moopsie.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hey there, we're those sci-fi guys, and this is that Those Sci-Fi Guys show. Just two working dudes, different lives, different jobs, with a whole lot of love for science fiction and the fun that comes with. We're your hosts. I am P.S. McKay. Yes, thank you. Well, those school children are long gone now. That's unfortunate.
Jesus Christ.
I hit the wrong button. It was supposed to be the applause. It was supposed to be the applause button, but I hit the explosion by accident. Anyway.
What the hell is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong other than I just hit the wrong button. I didn't intend on doing that. Anyway, how are you doing, DT?
I'm good. You realize the music's still playing.
Yeah, I know. There you go. No explosion after that one. So, do you know how long I've been looking for that?
That's because it came from me.
Of course it did. Do you know how long I've been looking for that drop? I've been looking for that drop for about 2 years now.
Exploding Kids drop?
No, the Simpsons yay. Like the school room of Simpsons children yelling yay, which you may not be familiar, but in LA there was this morning show called Kevin and Bean that was on the radio for about...
Of course, I definitely knew about that because it's in LA and I've never lived anywhere close to it.
That's why I'm saying you may not have known. But they were on the radio for 20 years, and they, that was one of their go-to drops, which always I felt was fun. So I was looking for it. I finally found it. It's the episode where Bart says,
I didn't do it.
Yeah. So, and there's
only
that.
I may dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought I'd say this, but shouldn't we be learning something?
And I'm going to have to cut that in half and do, shouldn't we be learning something? Because that was too long. So, but anyway, that being said, DT, okay, before we go any further, DT, production note for everyone else. We are airing episodes out of order. We previously recorded the episode where we reviewed Sinners, and then in that episode we talked about how we were going to be reviewing Sleepy Hollow. You're going to be hearing this episode first. There were some production issues with Sinners that I needed to clean up.
But we will also be reviewing Sleepy Hollow.
Right today, right now. So
and Sleepy Hollow.
And Sleepy Hollow. Yep.
That's our next scheduled one.
Oh, crap. Oh, the movie Sleepy Hollow. Yeah. With yeah, you're right. Damn it.
You didn't need to say anything.
I know. Well, yes, because this is gonna whatever. It doesn't matter. We talked about it with being the TV. This is a TV show from 2013. So just FYI, you're gonna get I'm getting a bunch of texts right now from my computer, my phone, my watch, and it's bothering the shit out of me.
All right, take a deep breath and just go, quiet you.
I can't. It's like a group text. Like, if the text gets out, like, my job's gone. It's one of those ones.
And what you do is you hit mute on the phone.
We're literally on 21 texts right now in the last, 2 minutes. Oh, 22. Holy hell. Gotta fix this one. Keep going. DT, why don't you... How have you been? What's going on? I was talking. I don't know even what I'm doing anymore because, goddamn. Fuck. turn that off.
Well,
All right.
Mac is clearly.
Oh my God, it's still doing it. So anyway.
Well, my friend, you're nuts. Okay, so.
This is as close to schizophrenia as I've ever going to experience, by the way.
And interruptophilia, too.
Yeah, sorry. I know you hate that. I did that.
Anyway, it is spooky season. We've hit Spocktober, and now we're ready to really dive in. Okay. You heard the production issues. We've already done one. And we're going to give you a back-to-back. Tonight we're reviewing, well, the pilot of the 2013 Fox series, Sleepy Hollow, which I've seen all the way through. Very much enjoyed the series. Mac did not see it, so he decided what better way to kick off this than by watching one of like 80 episodes. Now you can cheer.
So can I just go back to production issues real fast? Because
no, you already made your production issues.
I did. Well, it's going to be funny because I got a text from Annie from Drawn to Darkness, and this kind of fits in with what she does. She was texting me about how she was listening to episode 80 of ours, where we were talking about sci-fi scary movies or TV shows. And and it was funny because it was such a long ago episode. I mean, it was 3 years ago. It sounds completely different. So I was like, you know what? She said she laughed when she was saying that I needed that when she said she laughed when you said to me that I needed to start rotating more of my pompous words when I used dichotomy. And anyway, that being said, so I listened to some of that episode, and about 10 minutes in, we suddenly went silent for a good 4 minutes. Just silent. Like it was running, it was recording, but it was silent. And I could see in my head in the video, because I was just listening to it. This is back when we didn't air the video that were recorded at the same time, but that you put up a finger and you just left. Because I know that you got up and left because it was the way that the microphone recorded you. That was your end. And I just sat there quiet. And I'm sitting here. I'm going nuts, dude. I'm like, what the hell? This should have been edited out. Why? How did I miss this? How did I freaking this? What 2-bit operation was I running? And I texted her and I go, I have to apologize because apparently I missed a whole, blank section of the recording that should have been taken out. And I would blame it on being new or early in the process, but we were already a year flipping in. We were 1 year in. And I that's not an excuse. It was complete incompetence.
Yep.
So,
well, we've had quite a few errors, like when we mislabeled stuff and ended up going from episode 98 to 100.
Well, that was technically because of the Mother's Day special.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it technically was the 100th episode, and then we reset the counter to make it correct. So, it's like the Gregorian calendar switch in the 1500s. Not a big deal. They just erased 21 days off the calendar. It really does. It happens to the best of us. So, Sleepy Hollow 2013, and then Sleepy Hollow 2000 minus 1 year, 1999. We'll be doing next week.
Okay.
Oh, so I've got the trailer for it. I have the trailer for it. Do you want to see it?
Go ahead.
It's a good production thing. So.
Just go.
Okay. Share this tab instead. Here we go.
Who are you?
Ichabod Crane. I was under the command of General Washington.
George Washington.
Do you know him?
The man I saw was wearing an old military uniform.
Did he carry a broad axe?
When's the last time you saw him?
When I cut off his head.
The horseman's been awakened, and you along with him.
He has returned to Sleepy Hollow.
Now this is crazy.
Put your hands on your head!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was all from the pilot.
That was all from the pilot. That was the promo that I remember seeing back in 2013. And I thought it was interesting, but I also didn't understand how far they could go with it. Turns out it was 4 years, 68, 2 episodes. So that.
Yeah, well, what I will tell you about it is, one, it was excellent. Okay.
Yeah, well, pilot definitely was good.
And they really set it up so, like, how are you going to do the Legend of Sleepy Hollow in 2013? You concoct an entire world beyond worlds in this. And you turn the American Revolution into a cover for a war between good and evil, and to prevent the release of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Got that?
Good. Oh, I got it. It was very prominent in the pilot episode.
I know. So much. They really dug into lore, mythology, the Bible. You know, they mixed Ichabod Crane along with Rip Van Winkle in some ways. So they really dove into Washington Irving.
I was thinking about Rip Van Winkle when at the very beginning when he wakes up. I'm sitting here going, but wait a minute. Rip Van Winkle went to sleep well before the revolution even was an inkling. And then and then I'm like, oh, wait, that was Rip Van Winkle. That wasn't Ichabod Crane. Both Washington Irving stories.
Well, yeah. And the revolution had happened. You know, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow takes place right around, I would say, about 1800 or so. Because, like, the Legend of the Headless Horseman is like 20 years old, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it is a fantastic idea how they build this story. Oh, excuse me. 1890 is when the Legend of Sleepy Hollow supposedly takes place. So, but again,
wait, no, that late? They were wearing tricorner hats.
1790. I said 18. I meant 1790.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to jump down your throat about that, but that's
no, it's fine. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
A substantial one. So, yes, 1790. And it would be very weird for him to write it since he wrote it in 1820. So,
it would
70 years from now.
Yeah, 70 years from now. This is a thing that's going to be a thing.
Anyway, the gist of this is a supernatural drama, right? In 1871, Ichabod Crane shot a horseman in the left shoulder, which did not affect him. He does not die. The horseman, wearing an iron mask, brandishing an axe, severely wounds Crane in the chest. In desperation, Crane grabs his sword and beheads. They both fall side by side. Crane clinging to life. But then he wakes up in a cave by a river in 2013 Sleepy Hollow. And he is discovered by local police just after the sheriff of Sleepy Hollow is killed by beheading by an axe by a headless man. And his second in command notices things about him: uniform, brand on his hand, no head. And it's Abby Mills, and she's trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
Yeah. The head sheriff or the I don't know, whatever, who was ever in charge that night. Clancy Brown.
Yeah. Sheriff.
Love him. Sheriff August Corbin.
Yeah, love him. And I'm a big fan of not only Clancy Brown, but the character he plays. A lot of times he can play very rigid figures, bad guys, tough guys. You get a very mentor feeling of this, which is quite awesome. And then he dies. And that,
yeah, he's killed like pretty severely. It's ugly. I was like, no, and then I see John Cho in this. I'm like, oh, and then no, and then no. On John Cho, there were 2 no's on that one. So
just know that you don't see the end of either one exactly.
I know. Well, John Cho's in like 7 episodes. Clancy Brown's character is apparently some kind of occultist investigator.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole bunch of research that Abby Mills, his protege, discovers, which, good, and that sets up the basic series. Like, he's done research. And explain more. That's what you do.
Well, it's such a fantastic twist on the tale. Crane, instead of being a geeky school teacher from Connecticut, he's actually an English professor who defects to the side of the colonists during the Revolution.
And a spy.
And he battles a masked British soldier who does not seem to go down with bullets. They mortally wound each other, but they awaken 250-ish years later. The Horseman arises, and he kills the sheriff, starts getting everything going. And then you start seeing that there's other weird and creepy things going on in Sleepy Hollow. Abby Mills kind of watches the interrogation. Crane passes the polygraph with flying colors, even though he's, clearly saying things like, I, served in the colonial army with George Washington. And
dost thou know you weareth your mother's robes?
Not quite. Shakespeare drapes from the Avengers.
Yes.
But, they're convinced he's nuts. So she's trying to get into the investigation. But the new captain's like, no, you're a witness. You're not really supposed to be part of this investigation. Go home, let us do our job. Oh, and take this guy to the crazy house. And he manages to throw a few things to her about the Horseman and a few other people that gives her just enough pause to think, I think we've got to dig into this more.
Well, and she later alludes as to why she was keyed into digging into it more.
And it's clear. So Abby saw a demon and 4 white trees with her sister in the woods. Yeah, in high school. And has tried to repress it, has hid it, and but it's something that's that's tortured her. Hasn't been able to get out of her mind. So
I am so sorry. I am so sorry for that.
What are you doing?
There was a post that I wanted to zoom in on, but it was a video instead.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Crane takes her to, they
didn't do it.
eat back. Dude, would you stop?
Yeah, I'm done.
So Crane takes her to the his tomb, basically this cave where he awoke. They find this huge Bible, which turns out it was George Washington's Bible, and there are clues, to what's going on about the apocalypse, and that the horseman is actually the first horseman of the apocalypse, Death, and the headless horseman is looking for his head. Crane then lets they go to the graveyard where he finds the grave of his wife, and it turns out that she was burned as a witch not long after he dies, but she appears to him through visions and mirrors, and she says that she's trapped in a realm beyond the norm, and she tries to occasionally give him help to try to solve these mysteries. And it turns out the horseman's looking for his head. He can only move at night, but the head is actually buried in her grave. She's not actually buried there. Sleepy Hollow has been the home to two distinct covens, one of which of dark magic and one of white magic.
Witch covens.
Light magic. Huh?
Witch covens. Like
yes,
witches. Witches.
Yep. But the headless horseman also kills a reverend who may or may not be 300 years old or an identical descendant of somebody from that time, who tries to prevent the horseman from getting his head. Basically, what boils down to it is, she keeps kind of pissing off the captain because she doesn't really listen. And, why is Crane not in the institution? What's going on? Oh, she's making excuses. He's got information, stuff that just doesn't seem to fit. He's not the murderer, all of these things. And she goes into Sheriff Corbin's office and discovers this, hidden file cabinet, which has all this occult information, including, tape recorders and even notes about her visions as a teenager, the things she saw, and how he's kind of looked out for her. And, they decide that, the four horsemen, they're trying to raise the horsemen of the apocalypse from Sleepy Hollow, which appears to be, in some ways, kind of resembles a hellmouth from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where there's this convergence of supernatural and mystical powers, including a lot of dark magic, in the town of Sleepy Hollow, New York. Captain Irving is like the no nonsense, you got to go home kind of not believing stuff. And of course, they're trying to keep this stuff under wraps because you don't really cause a panic,
Nope.
But even still, you have two cops who get into a shootout with the horseman, who gets weapons from a corrupt cop who seems to be working roughly for these demons. Oh, by the way, that's John Cho. And he's helping them, but apparently, like, he and Abby are friends, but he's corrupted by evil, and he actually tries to lock her in the trunk or in his
in the back
car
seat.
but she turns the tables on him.
Yeah.
Nearly bites his finger off.
Well, there's definitely some attraction on his behalf, which he fell for.
Clearly, he's unrequited affection for her.
Yeah, and he was trying to express that affection, and that in that gentle moment, she took advantage of it.
Yeah.
By the way, gross on his part.
Yeah.
Not hers. She did what she was supposed to do. I hate that. I hate that moment where they're just like, no, it's okay. You're going to be hurt. Ugh, gross.
Yep. Yeah. But she, Abby turns the tables on, what's his name? Andy, and locks him up.
2 A names, by the way. That should never have been allowed.
It is what it is. Carry on.
Albeit it is a needless nitpick, but
yes,
you normally don't see that. Go ahead.
Anyway, they manage to drive the horseman off because they get a hold of his head, and the sun comes up, and he has to retreat to the river. Of course, he steals a white horse because he's the horseman of death, and behold the pale horse. Riding upon him was death. From Revelations and all that stuff. So like they're taking a lot of keys from Washington's Bible, particularly books of Revelation. They're talking about witnesses and trials and tribulations. And at this time, once they manage to drive the horseman off for the time being, Abby kind of comes around to the fact of what's going on here while Crane is desperately trying to figure out how to handle the 21st century.
Right. Well, he handled it rather well with regular aplomb, if you will. The digital screens, the incandescent lights, he just kind of rolled with it pretty fast.
Well enough. As you go into the first season, you start to see a little more of his struggles with the 21st century. But clearly this is a man who is, of course, an educated man who then was told, oh, well, this is literally, it's not just a revolution, it's a fight against evil. And he's seeing people rise from the dead. He's waking up 250 years in the future, so I think that's helping him roll a little more with the punches than you might think. Oh, demons. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so there it is.
Now we know the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are real. Oh, well, I guess motorized carriages is a little less weird. But
a little bit.
It's such a fascinating take on the legend of Sleepy Hollow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The headless horseman is literally the embodiment of the horseman of death from the book of Revelations in the Bible. Ichabod Crane is now a British-born American captain who fought against the British in the Revolution as a agent for George Washington. And now he awakens in the 21st century and is assisting a police officer in, investigating unusual occurrences in Sleepy Hollow. This is definitely similar to the run of let's pair a cop with the most different type person you can, right?
Yeah.
You have Bones, the forensic anthropologist, with the FBI agent. You have Castle, the mystery writer, with the police officer. You have the mentalist, and psych. We're talking like con artists who are working with the police. There's a lot of these kinds of shows that were very popular in the early 2000s and early 2010s.
Well, it's a buddy cop. It's a buddy cop show with supernatural elements. I mean, was it Big Trouble in Little China? Well, something like that.
What with Kurt Russell?
Yeah,
all the way back in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is. That's what Mando and Grogu is going to be. It's a buddy cop show.
Yeah, basically. But this is an interesting take on an old legend. Okay. Crane's not a semi-douchey, greedy school teacher. He marries Katrina Van Tassel, who's
he does. It's true love. And by the way, good on him. Good on him.
And I gotta tell you, the two leads of this show, Tom Misen and Nicole Bahari, they really have great chemistry. And
they did work well together in the pilot.
Yeah, and sometimes pilots are a little clunky, but this one actually went pretty well. Like I just watched, over the last couple nights, I've watched a few more episodes because I'm like, well, I like this show, so I'm gonna keep rewatching.
It did feel a little rushed. I felt like it could have been like an hour and a half.
Well, it could have been a two-parter episode.
Yeah, but
it
was fine. Service.
It's
Fox is not going to finance a 2-hour pilot.
It could have. It could have. They didn't know if this premise was going to make it halfway through the pilot.
Yeah.
The fact that a show like this lasted 4 years on Fox is impressive.
Well, I was actually surprised
like
how long it did last. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. I have this habit of talking over you, and I apologize.
And it was good, too. At least I thought so. The premise was creative and different. I mean, there's 100, relatively faithful retellings of the legend of Sleepy Hollow, maybe tweaks, twists here and there, but this is just really kind of out there and different. It's creative. The effects for the Headless Horseman were great.
The effects were great. The body double for the Headless Horseman was really good.
It was
solid. Like he looked like an opposing man. He moved quick. He had dexterity, and it was scary.
Yeah,
like very menacing. Well played. The costume was fantastic that he wore too.
Oh yeah, so good.
They did it really well, where it didn't flap and move the way that would cause some distractions and whatnot. This is the production side of me that's making the observation. Like it stayed tight where it needed to, and it covered what it needed. So
yeah, the production quality was really good on this show. And by the way, him riding on this horse with glowing red eyes, the white horse with eyes, that was creepy. It was good creepy.
He enchanted the horse, which, by the way, poor horse. Don't like that. But yes, it was well done. How far did you get into the plot recap at this point? Did you finish?
The plot. Oh, the only thing I didn't is they arrest Brooks and they're going to interrogate him, but he's being called out for his failures through the mirror in the cell by the demon.
Scary scene. Very scary scene.
This show does have some body horror to it, and the demon just literally knocks his head right off his shoulders, but still on the skin, which is gross.
So it's dangling and
yeah.
And
he
then
was suffering from scoliosis.
You need to apologize right now to the people with scoliosis. Right now, sir.
Right now, man. This dude's spine and neck were definitely distorted.
But at the very end, Abby and Ichabod come into the cell and they see him mangled. And she looks into the bathroom, the mirror that, is in the back of the cell. And she sees the demon walking away from the mirror, in the mirror, but in the setting of the woods that she was in when she first saw that demon when she was little or younger.
Which is, and I'll say this, that is like the dream state that this exists in.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, it's the jump scare, like sprint to the glass and the shattering of the glass.
I did jump because it turns around slowly and menacingly and makes eye contact with her. And she, cuts to her. And she's like, oh. And then, quick jump right there, and smash. The mirror gets smashed, and then we see them in the mirror bits, and then that's it. Cut to black.
By the way, it does remind me a little bit of a Mitch Hedberg joke. I think Bigfoot is blurry. I think the scariest part is there's a large out-of-focus monster wandering around.
That is a good point.
Because the demon is out of focus, and that is, I think, part of that.
He's out of phase with the world.
He's out of phase, exactly, and it adds, I think, a bit of menace to it.
Yeah,
and also maybe helps with production value. You don't have to worry about really if it looks shitty because it's supposed to be blurry.
Yeah.
The more I rewatch the show, the more I really love the portrayal of Ichabod Crane.
He was a good actor. I liked him.
Yeah.
He was personable. He didn't come off as pompous. He demonstrated enough fish out of water elements that were appropriate for this. And I'll say it was a rushed pilot in the sense that, they rushed the story a little bit, but that can be forgiven just to know the scenario of the situation. And that's not a knock on anything. He was, I think he was portrayed rather well.
And it gets better,
nice.
Of course, as he gets more comfortable, as they get more comfortable in their roles.
Sure. I missed Orlando Jones. I loved him. I love Orlando Jones as a fan.
Yeah.
His character annoyed the crap out of me in this show, at least in this episode. He was just way too.
Well, it's very cookie cutter.
He barked on Abby way too much. I felt it was.
Well,
weird.
I mean, she did go against every regulation they had. I mean,
yes, I agree. I understand.
But
he shut down a lot of things too.
He did, but even in the next couple of episodes, you start to see him warm up a little to them. And to be honest with you, the character actually becomes a pretty solid character. You get to learn more about him. And by the way,
sure there's a backstory to him.
Oh, there's a lot of backstory. But just remember, his name is Irving. Okay.
Yeah, I know. He's named after Washington Irving.
Washington Irving, which I think was a nice nod. I very much enjoyed that. I like that kind of forethought. But yeah, I mean, the thing I like so much about this is that it really does, it takes a well-known story, right? And it just gives you a really fresh take.
I need you to keep going. I got to talk to my wife. Keep going. I'm sorry.
You've got a fresh take. It's a wild view. One of the things I love about it is just how kind of out there it is, but they make it make sense. They build a great world in this series. Solid world building. They do a lot of flashbacks in the show, which has become kind of a thing in a lot of genre fiction. Flashbacks to, and of course, it explains a lot of what he does. As you get further in the series, he'll flashback a lot to times, in the Revolution, how he meets Katrina, meetings with Washington, and of course, there's also periodic appearances from other historical figures throughout, the further along. These are not major spoilers, but, there's flashbacks to his time, before his faithful encounter with the Horseman. And, they dive into a lot of American folklore, native folklore, colonial era stuff. There's more there's plenty of things that are, he stumbles through. There's the scene in the pilot where, because Abby's African-American female, and there has to be a little discussion about the freeing of the slaves in the Civil War. But overall, the character of Crane is very likable. It's very easy to turn him into a doofus, as sometimes Crane is portrayed as a bit of, a little aloof, a little greedy, and definitely dweeby. But Tom Misen really does embody a dignity, but also a wit and a cleverness that is very enjoyable. And then, of course, Nicole Bahari as Abby, she's just so solid, and it's a great character. She's fun, she's smart, she's tough, without overdoing anything. They both don't overdo it. The characters could really go off the rails, I think, quickly. Like Crane could really become a caricature. Or he could also be super mopey because, my family's gone. I don't know where I am. And while there's moments later on as he struggles with coming to terms with everything, they have pretty good writing and pacing, and there's a lot of they have some good quirk in there. It's not just supernatural, some horror. There's also historical fiction, but there's a nice amount of humor in it that keeps it from getting too depressing or too scary. It's a little light humor. Like Crane has a very refined wit, and he's pretty funny in those light moments.
He did mention that listening to Abby talk in the pilot sounded just like gibberish. I don't think he used the word gibberish, but it was every other word didn't make sense to him. So
yes.
Okay, I'll say this. I'm going to talk about the pilot on my end. I apologize for stepping away for a second. If I overlap, just point it out. Like I said, I felt it was a little rushed. Should have been like an hour and a half, 2-hour episode. Fine.
I agree. It should have been a double episode. It would have allowed some building.
I was kind of surprised when I saw it last night. I'm like, oh, only 44 minutes. That's interesting. And then as I was watching, I was like, wow, that was quick. Like, okay, well, we see the revolutionary fight, and then we see them them both fall next to each other.
Good
production value. Good production value for the revolutionary fight.
Yep.
We see them fall. We hear, hurry, there's not much time, said by a woman, or no, by a man. And then, the woman says, please stay with us. And then the next thing, he wakes up and he's bursting through the ground. He's thirsty. He gets water. And then the next thing he knows, he's out standing on a street. That's all within 5 minutes, maybe less.
Yeah.
Really fast. Still effective. It worked. I like the Reverend having some kind of, first of all, the Reverend was around in the revolutionary times. He was the one that said, hurry, we don't have much time. If you didn't already say that.
Well, I didn't, but I did allude to the.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a spoiler. It's shown in the pilot.
Right, of course.
And the pilot, and the Reverend is able to say some incantations to try to use the chains around the church to fight the Headless Horseman, and doesn't quite work effectively enough, but it shows, oh, wow, he's got things going on with him, which makes me wonder, we didn't see a body, and there wasn't mentioned by the police about him being gone or decapitated.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Never mind. Stone cold sober watching it, by the way. So I still feel like he's going to be coming back. He was too powerful of a character to not come back in some form or another. All these characters come back. I know that. They just have to. That's just the way that they structured this whole thing. Death means nothing, even though death is the ultimate enemy.
Yeah.
Which is a funny way to say it, but I liked the lore. I thought that they played the biblical themes of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse well, with the 4 trees and the demon, and then the creepy thing that was moving behind the pile of brush that was there.
Yeah, that was the demon.
Yeah, that was scary. That was good.
It was very Blair Witchy.
Yes, and the production was well done. I like the song "Pleased to Meet You" by the Rolling Stones, which is a story about a man dealing with the devil from Dostoevsky. Yep. That was well done. I thought that was a good little callback. Overall, it was a very promising pilot, and if I had seen it back in 2013, even though I knew this episode existed, and by the way, I'm sitting here watching this going, okay, what are the historical contexts of when this episode aired, of why I didn't see it and everything. I didn't see it because I had very young children, two young children, and I was probably putting them in baths, and I was putting, reading to my son and doing all of that. And we could have recorded it. We had TiVo back in the day, but it just didn't feel like we had enough room on the TiVo to be able to do it. And then there were other things that we needed to watch that my wife wanted to watch, and Happy Wife, Happy Life. Not blaming her, actually, kind of blaming her.
In 2013, there were 2 debuts I really looked forward to. One was this, and the other was Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
So they both debuted.
And the Arrowverse just recently ended.
Yeah, about a year or so ago.
So that's a pretty lengthy legacy. I also noticed some of the producers on this, who were Alex Kurtzman and Roberta Orsi, who were most known for, probably at this point, Star Trek 09, working with J.J. Abrams. And then when I saw their names and I saw this episode, I was like, okay, all of this makes sense. Mystery box shit. There it is. I stand
corrected. Arrow was 2012.
Oh, 2012. No big deal. It was right there. You were right in that same era. It's not a big deal. Then I'm like, okay, mystery box. That's why. And I haven't looked up the production company, if it was Secret Hideout or if it was Secret Robot, or was it Bad Robot? Have you?
Very Bad Robot.
Do you know? I can't tell. I can't find it.
I'm looking. Give me a sec.
Yeah, you'll find it. I know you can. So if it's Secret Hideout, this is one of their first shows that kind of helped put Alex Kurtzman and Roberta Orsi on the map.
No, it is not.
Is it Bad Robot?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Well, then they were just producers then.
K&O Paper Products.
Nice. Okay.
That was founded by Kurtzman and Orsi.
Well, there we go. Probably closed shortly after the Dark Universe collapsed. Now, I want to point out a couple things historically in 2013 that happened. So by 2013, these two were flying high. And this show was dealing heavily in the mystery box formula, which there's nothing wrong with the mystery box formula as long as you can
explain the mystery box formula for those who don't know it.
Okay, so basically you basically, start a plot, and then you say that there's something important, but we don't know what it is, and we need to find out why it's important. And that's the mystery box right there. And different characters come in, they add some kind of trait or contribution on the way to try to find out why something is important, or other elements to it. and with Rey in Star Wars, The Force Awakens, mystery box was who was Rey. That was the mystery box, and then it was probably the most underwhelming finding out ever. But Lost, the TV show Lost, big mystery box show. Where did the smoke monster come from? What island were they on? Were they really dead? Those things. They never really answered them, but they set the stage for it. And Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci were heavily involved in that show too. I can't speak for Sleepy Hollow. I don't hear any bad things about Sleepy Hollow and the way it ended, other than that it ended, and probably it was very enjoyable.
It ended, I think it was canceled. I want to say season 4, they just, they didn't, it ended, like the season ended, but I don't think it was renewed more than anything.
So it was unresolved.
The season ended, so they at least tied up the one plot for that year.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure they were setting things up for the next season, I think, and then
didn't happen.
Yeah.
Television in 2013, 2011 was in a really weird transition point. It was beginning to get to the point where the production values needed to be really high, but the advertising revenue was starting to deplete. But they weren't ready. The networks weren't ready to get away from that. And then COVID happened. And COVID accelerated everything. And pretty much all network television is either procedurals that are really cheap because they just use the same things, real world sets and things like that, or it's reality shows. So now, there's very few sitcoms that we see. There's very few supernatural things. All that stuff is reserved for prestige television, which is streaming stuff now, if you noticed. Mm-hmm. 2013 is also notable because that was the year Star Trek Into Darkness came out. And that was the movie where Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci lost all goodwill from Star Trek fans. And this show came out shortly after that movie came out, and everyone was hating on them in a big way. I remember Roberto Orci kind of had a breakdown. And I don't blame him. If you keep getting barraged online for your creation and being told you're a hack when you have really good ideas, and I'm pretty sure that he was told by the studio, you need to do this. And he's like, fine, I'll do it to the best of my ability. And it still doesn't work out. And you're like, well, this is what the studio told me to do. And it didn't work out. And you're told you're a hack when all you want to do is to create something that's going to wear down on you. But they were still kind of the reason why Star Trek Beyond bombed. No one wanted to go back to Star Trek Beyond. You may have gone to the theater. I didn't go to the theater because of Star Trek Into Darkness. You were deployed, I bet.
No, I was home.
2016?
But I was in the field that whole fall. So I think I ended up watching it on demand.
I got it on DVD. I got it on Blu-ray. And then I live tweeted it as I watched it, and it was a hate tweet session. We reviewed that episode or that movie, everybody, Star Trek Beyond, whatever. But that was on the tail end of that. So I found it interesting that I saw this show being produced by Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci. And then I was also thinking, okay, well, they also have relations to Bad Robot, which at this point was well into production of Star Wars. Right? And
Bad Star Wars.
Yeah. And by the way, this has nothing to do with Ichabod Crane. Sleepy Hollow, as far as I can tell, and from what you're telling me, good show. I really like the pilot. I endorse it. Go enjoy it. My analysis of the era, though, which is kind of, this is the turning point era, which is why we're in what we're in. You're trying to wave it away real fast. Want to make the point. I believe that it was because of Star Trek Into Darkness that we got The Last Jedi. Because Star Trek Into Darkness delved into, okay, it's Star Trek 2. We need to have Khan. So we're going to have Khan, but we're not going to say it's Khan until we say it's Khan. And that's it. And then Last Jedi comes out, and it's, Rian Johnson, who is rebuking what Bad Robot did or Secret Hideout did, or members of that group, that ilk. And he goes, I'm going to do something completely different. Your Snoke theory sucks, as he points out in a little sign. And that's where we got the conflict that we're in now. This isn't the cause, but this show was in the middle of it all.
This show was better.
Yeah, shockingly enough. Probably because Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci only put their money in it and a little bit, just their names to it at the point. And they probably took it off a couple years later. I don't know if anything Roberto Orci has done since, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they executive produced.
They did a comic for Star Trek Countdown for Star Trek 09.
All right, getting off track here.
I'm just pointing out it was very faithful, and they gave a love letter to Star Trek saying, we hope you enjoyed the movie. This is the letter. This is the love letter comic that sets up everything for everything that we loved for Star Trek 09. I can't see the thumbs up, but apparently you tried that. There it is. So it's a single episode of a single show, and it's how are we going to fill 2 hours? I'm just saying this all crossed my mind when we watched. This is all stuff that crossed my mind when I was watching Sleepy Hollow.
Question for you. You've seen the first episode. What are you looking forward to sinking your teeth into? Should you continue beyond this episode?
Reading a couple of the summaries of the episode, the next couple episodes, it feels like it's a Monster of the Week kind of show, at least initially.
Yes and no. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little flavor. So it's in some ways, it's what I see is it has similarities to Buffy in that Buffy would have a Monster of the Week sometimes, but there were always things that tended to push, not always, because that was, it started like almost 20 years before this, but the Monster of the Week, most of them had ties to the demon, right? So as this demon is gaining power with the first horseman loose, more evil is coming through the cracks, so to speak.
Yep.
So yes, there is some Monster of the Week, but there's also things that further the plot. Like this guy, if they let this loose, then this enables this guy to get strength and so on. So it's a little bit of both, if that makes sense. Like there's definitely episodes in season 1 that are focused purely on the next step with the main villain plot, right? But in between, there's also there's also flashbacks to Crane's time, There's also Abby having to come to terms with the, what she saw as a kid, and then delving into like Corbin's files as well, of, and in some ways figuring out or using what he's pieced together to help them further their fight against the evil and to try to contain the horsemen and prevent the release of the other three, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And that's cool.
But even if it is sort of monster of the week, the two leads are strong and they're entertaining.
No, and I mean that's procedural television right there. So that'll be the thing. So,
but the interesting thing is this is the time where we were starting to get some shorter episodes, some shorter seasons. Like season 1 and season 4 are both 13 episodes. Season 2 and 3 are 18 apiece. And this is all prior to the pandemic. You know, I think probably production value had maybe something to do with it being shorter seasons. You know, they focus on less episodes so they can put some of that money into production. So, and overall production, the series is actually filmed in North Carolina, but
I saw that
all the B-roll is of like Sleepy Hollow and the Hudson Valley there, the Tappan Zee area of New York, where,
which, by the way, go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
I lived near there.
Yeah, you did
for 2 years, and when I was in Army recruiting, I lived in Orange County, New York, and there were times I had to go to Northwest New Jersey where I had other recruiters. So I would a lot of times go through that area, over the Tappan Zee Bridge on the Hudson, through Tarrytown. Now, my regret is that I never stopped. Now, I couldn't do it really in the government car on the government dime, but we lived close enough that we could have made a trip down there. Just not in October.
No.
Be like going to Salem.
Well, yeah, I just saw a video of Salem in October and couldn't get creepier enough with it, you know, just all the streets filled with people.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago, the mayor of it was the year that Hocus Pocus 2 was coming out, and the mayor of Salem came out and said, please, no more. Please don't come to Salem. We don't have the infrastructure to support you.
Yeah.
Enough restaurants, gas stations, hotels. It's too much. It's overwhelming our utilities.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a public service announcement to everyone. Do not go to Salem. Do not go to Sleepy Hollow in the fall. Go in the spring, early spring, March, early April, if you want that still creepy vibe, but it's still kind of cool.
You might be able to pull off early September.
Maybe, yeah. But it'll
Labor
still be
Day.
green and stuff. But yeah. But if you want to see like the Lookout Rock or whatever it is where the hangings happen in Salem, or it's not the Lookout Rock, it's a particular point that they've memorialized the area with the hanging tree.
Yeah, they discovered that only recently, like within the last 5 to 10 years, that they discover the location.
Yep.
And they put up a memorial, which
well, I mean, I don't know if you've read deeply into the Salem witch trials, but really it was just a farce. It was a joke. And you know, they talk about they tried to explain it to us, and at least to me in high school, by, you know, there was ergot in the bread, and you know, it caused you know, young girls to, you know, freak out because of poisoning, and you know, it gave them visions and stuff because of the LSD. No, it wasn't that. They were wanting attention, and then they said that they were bewitched, and then it was taken advantage of by those girls' parents to be able to maybe settle some hash between different neighbors and themselves.
There was a lot of that.
And to get a little bit of power. And because all it was those girls said that person appeared to me in a vision that they were a witch, and that's it, and that they were cursed. It wasn't the girls that were bewitched. and accused of bewitchment. No, innocent people, innocent women were.
Yeah.
And if you said you were a witch, you would most likely live. But if you said, no, I'm completely innocent, you were going to be dead.
Well, yeah, they'd torture you.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was
Killing
one,
the Witches is a good book, by the way. Read that.
I want to say there was one who may have been a survivor of a Native American attack who was suffering, like had nightmares.
Oh, most probably. And those girls took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Honestly, the witch accusations didn't really stop or slow down until the wife of the Massachusetts governor was accused of being a witch. And that was when the governor of Boston went to Salem and said, we got to shut this shit down.
All right, you knock that shit off or I'm coming up there.
Exactly. And then those girls still tried to keep going, but then the authorities were like, no, we're not going to do it. And so they threw temper tantrums because they weren't getting the attention they wanted. And then, yeah. I mean, it was sick. I mean, they were responsible for 16 deaths or something like that. It's something in that realm. It was awful.
Yeah.
Whole families were destroyed. Just.
And hence why the high school football mascot is the Witches of Salem High.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Sleepy Hollow's mascot is the Horseman.
Yeah, we saw that video last year.
That's freaking great.
Which is great. You're able to find someone who can ride a horse, in that costume and everything. It's good stuff. It's not easy to find someone who could ride a horse in a complicated environment like a football game and do that safely. Believe me.
It's also not easy to find an original mascot.
No, that's true. That's true. So we know that Salem has completely tried to atone for their sins by just leaning into the witch thing, maybe too much, but whatever.
But Sleepy Hollow is literally just a legend. Although there is some historical data that maybe there really was a British soldier who lost his head somewhere in that part of New York. So,
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
All I can tell you is Sleepy Hollow is better than the Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh, damn it. Don't know how that happened. Sorry. This is him looking through the Bible, by the way.
Washington's Bible, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, man, like I just watched 2 episodes, out past the pilot, the first 2 episodes, one last night, the other tonight. And I'm like, yeah, it's really getting juicy. And, I love seeing the progression and how things start. Like, because, like they give you a bunch of the Monster of the Week things, but then like in the back half of the season, they start ramping up.
Sure.
With more and more things critical to the plot, to the plot itself, and they stick with it, right? This whole Horsemen of the Apocalypse, the founding fathers being involved in the occult and fighting a war against good and evil continues through the series. It's very entertaining. And again, I enjoy the leads. And I hope you keep watching, man, because it's fun. And, it's something that the kids could enjoy. It's not too, it's network TV, so it's not too gruesome.
No, well, there's no blood. And they actually, their little cop-out about the whole blood thing was the axe got heated to 500 degrees and it cauterized the neck and it cauterized the neck, supposedly.
Yeah,
So it did a lightsaber thing.
He's got a broad axe from hell.
Yeah, so that was a nice little touch to get past the people that were like, well, blood should be spurting because those are arteries right there, and so
it's how Star Wars gets away with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we never saw a lightsaber go through. We did actually in the first movie.
Jinn.
No, I'm talking about A New Hope, in which, but the first time we saw a lightsaber go through someone was the guy in the cantina, and then there was blood pouring out of that arm. But that was early lore. They were still trying to figure that out. And then the second time we saw the lightsaber go through Obi-Wan basically vaporized before the lightsaber hit him. So
he's like, that's going to be hot. I'm out.
Yeah. So early lore, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway. So,
well, speaking of early lore, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow gets a 21st century taste. And it was good.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars. I don't do that guy justice. His summaries are just fantastic. I just can't. I don't have that talent to be able to do that. If he's someone on TikTok or Instagram, I don't know. Like if he's on Instagram, I assume he's on TikTok. But he summarizes kids' movies and it was 5 stars at the end.
Yeah, it's from up here. 5 stars.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I've been worried that the New England accent has been dying, but I kind of feel like social media is reinforcing the accent to continue.
Well, that's because people get on there and there's like entire, TikTok episodes and stuff of people going, all right, kid, here's how you say these town names.
Exactly.
Here's how you pronounce this.
Worcester.
Welcome to Worcester.
Leominster.
Leominster. Methuen. Oh, Methuen.
Methuen.
Good luck with some of these.
Yeah. Well, that's just the nature of the beast. So,
but I hope you enjoyed your trip to the Hudson Valley.
It was fun.
I hope you go back because it really is. It's a fun watch. That's what it is. To me, it's a fun watch.
It didn't feel like homework, that's for sure.
Good.
I didn't get to it when I was supposed to. That's why we pushed our recording back a little bit. But it was a fun watch. I liked it. I thought it was good. I did have a lot of thoughts going through my head as I was watching it that were unrelated to the actual plot, but it was related to the production. That's just what I do. But yeah, no, I thought I really didn't have anything much to complain about other than Orlando Jones's character just kind of harshed my mellow. I love Orlando Jones.
He'll get better. Okay.
Yeah.
He has, he comes in as the replacement guy. Hey, we got to do Law and Order stuff. So,
yeah,
it happens.
He
actually gets character arc and development.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But this is kind of a different role. Normally, he's the comic relief, or at least he had been up until this point.
Up until like 2004, he was comic relief, and then he was in Drumline or something. I haven't seen much comedy from him since.
I haven't seen much from him since this show.
He's a special actor. I wish he was a little bit more mainstream in the sense, and I say mainstream, but when I say mainstream, I mean like in things that I watch, because that's what we're getting into now. Everything is so niche. It's like, someone can be a solid actor working for 30 freaking years, but I only know their first 5 years of work because all the other stuff is stuff I don't watch. So it's like,
and that's fair. It happens,
Yeah.
But, he grows on you. He grows on you. He
Okay.
really does.
Noted.
And
Noted. I love Orlando.
Sure. But the two leads really jive. And they start bringing in some more supporting characters who are pretty solid. Even later,
Do they
in
bring
the season.
Katrina into the real world?
I'm not gonna. I'll.
That's a yes.
Yeah,
and
okay.
that's more
At some
incentive for me
point.
to watch. So
At some point, yes. But there's a lot that goes on with
fan of
her
Katrina.
past. Yeah, she actually plays a pretty good role. But yeah, it's interesting. You keep grinding on it, and just because we did in Crane is Revolutionary War era, I'm wearing a hat that I got on the Freedom Trail in Boston.
Oh yeah,
13 stars.
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross
flag, which she's in, by the way. She's listed in the main character in the first like 6 characters on IMDb. What can I say?
Yes. Like I said, there's a lot of flashbacks, particularly in the first few seasons, to Crane's time in the Revolution. So there's a lot of other historic characters who he interacts with.
Yeah. Well, very
Overall,
good. 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Out.
All right. There we are. All right, everybody. So on that note, we've reached the end. And until the next time, just remember, please remember, you guys keep dreaming. We'll keep working. I am P.S. McKay. And until the next time, so long, folks. We're those sci-fi guys.
And I'm DT Gavman. And you can keep your head up here on the high ground.
Those Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by Alpha Sci Productions, produced by DT Cabman and PSMK, ocean by music by Aiden under Creative Commons license. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow PSMK on X at PSMK or go to thosescifiguys.com for past episode information. You can now find us on Spotify, so head on over there for our latest episodes. But don't worry, you can still find us on Apple. We are also live on Rumble, and you can find us on YouTube. So and with Facebook, be sure to leave a like and a comment and let us know how we're doing.